Do you see yourself as a Charlie Brown?
It depends on the day. I think usually yes, around the holidays. I relate to the kind of looking for the meaning of it all and finding it in family and friends, I think.
You didn't say, "Oh, wait a minute, why are they casting me as Charlie Brown? I'm more Snoopy or I'm more whatever."
No, it's definitely of the Peanuts, I think I would relate to Charlie Brown the most out of all of them.
Well, and you've played other kind of hapless characters too. Seymour,
Very true.
Henrik.
Oh yes. Yep.
I mean, they're all kind of there is a theme there that's kind of going. But with this show, how did they turn it into a stage show? Because we just know it as a TV show.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting process. So it is word for word the TV special in the middle, but then at the beginning we add a little bit of kind of a more flashy opening Broadway number to deck the halls, and then at the end we do a Christmas pageant that is all Christmas music, huge dance numbers. We have a lot of little nods throughout to other little musical numbers. So we have a chorus line moment in there at one point.
Oh,
There's
wow.
some wicked nods as well. It's kind of a fun for musical theater lovers as well.
So there are songs, even though because I don't remember Charlie Brown Christmas having songs other than like religious ones.
Yeah, there are we do all of the Vince Guaraldi trio songs. So it's a lot of Christmas Time is Here. It's underscored by a jazz trio the whole time, but then we also do Christmas songs throughout essentially.
Okay. Well, were you a fan of Charlie Brown?
Yes.
I mean, or is that you're just saying that because it's part of the gig and I've got to do it?
That's a great question. No, I genuinely did grow up watching the Christmas special every year. That was kind of a part of our holiday tradition in our house, is just sitting down and watching that special.
And how is it doing Christmas night after night after night after night where you want to scream, or does it get you in the mood and so it's good?
It depends on the day. No, but I think that's part of the reason I love this show so much is it's the Christmas music that's within the special is so it just brings me joy to hear it. All of the skating montage and Christmas Time is Here, and it's nice to be able to hear that as opposed to the All I Want for Christmas Is You on repeat every day.
Right. Are you
For
ready for Christmas, or is this kind of like, yeah, I'm not that kind of person?
Oh no, I'm ready. I'm ready. I think I go on a similar journey every year of feeling like it starts a little too soon. But having done this last year, I think I knew what to expect and how to get ready for the holidays a little sooner than I am used to.
This is your second tour with this, right? Or
Yeah, so I did it. I wasn't on the tour last year, but last year there was a New York production, a standalone New York production, and then a tour. So I was a part of the New York production last year.
so does it differ? Are we getting
It
something else?
it's about the same. There's more scenic elements for the tour. So there's more things that fly in and out. There's a little more lighting. It's a little more razzle dazzle. So that's the tech process has been stepped up for sure.
Oh, wow. Well, why did you choose acting? What's the lure there for you?
Yeah.
It
So my
wasn't
dad
someday I get to play Charlie Brown.
I've wanted to play. Yeah. My dad introduced me to acting at a young age. So we used to live in the Virgin Islands, and he was a professor at the University of the Virgin Islands and would help run the community theater there. So I would, as like a 3-year-old, come to set and help paint the set. So that was my first introduction to it. And then I got into choir and theater in middle school and just fell in love with acting and performing.
But then how did the pandemic fit into all of this? Did you say,
Mm.
I have to rethink what my career is going to be? Or
There was a moment. There was definitely a moment, and I think a lot of performers had a similar moment. I turned to writing music a little bit as a way to feel like I still had some control over the art that I was making during the pandemic. But I never fully gave up on it. I always had. I knew that it wasn't going to be gone for long, and it would come back.
did you do any kind of goofy things I mean, as a career in that time to like, were
Oh
you
yes,
suddenly a
many Zoom
delivery
readings.
person or what?
I did. Oh man, I worked. At one point during the pandemic, I was working three different jobs: the barista, working at an Orange Theory, and there was essentially a physical therapy place I was working. So getting out there as best I could, but it was a tricky time for sure.
You can do physical therapy?
So I was just working as a front desk person.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
come
Like,
on.
what can't he
How many
do? Yeah.
shows you'd be good for? You know,
Right.
they all need a physical therapist to be
Yeah.
great, right? So when does this? It runs from when to when? This?
Yeah, so we're taking off to our first location on the 17th of November, and then we're running all the way through Christmas. So our last shows are in New Orleans after Christmas, actually, the 27th and 28th.
So you don't get Christmas, or what do you do?
We have Christmas off, thankfully. But also the good thing is our shows right around Christmas are in New York. They're at the Palladium. So I'll be back in town. I have family flying in, so I'll be able to still spend the holidays with loved ones.
And then after that, what happens?
After the show's over, well, nothing on the books quite yet, but hoping to have something lined up while we're out on tour here.
I am so curious though about that career because maybe it's because I've been, in the same kind of world forever.
Hmm.
And the idea that you would go and get very emotionally involved in a production
Hmm.
and then suddenly it's done.
Yeah.
I don't understand that mindset. Help me through that.
It's hard. It's hard because you make, and especially on a tour when you're really spending every waking hour with these people that you're in a cast with, you make these temporary families that really just are. We have such an incredible cast, so I thinking about saying goodbye to them already is hard. But it is tricky to be so emotionally invested in people and to share the stage with them, and then essentially to say, all right, bye. Hopefully our paths cross again, but that's part of the business and part of what makes it so special too, I think.
Then how do you, sorry, I'm sorry asking you these kind of
Oh no, yeah, yeah,
questions,
please.
but how do you deal with rejection? Because certainly it could be just a look that they're looking for. And when
Hmm.
they're casting, it could be, yeah, you don't have the look.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's hard, and I think it took me a while to come to terms with, in New York, uh, after a point, everyone is talented. Everyone that's auditioning is very talented, and you have to not take it personally if they don't pick you, because I feel like 95% of the acting industry is rejection. So getting used to being said no to, and knowing it's not a personal attack or anything about your
Sure.
talent. It's just how you look next to the other people they're looking for, right place, right time, how it lines up. And yeah.
But it also seems today you really need to be, used to be that there were dancers who could sing or
Hmm.
or singers who could dance or actors, but now they
Right.
really expect everything. And to me, I think that's maybe too much.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is really hard, and especially with some of these shows now where you have to sing, act, dance, and play an instrument, and speak
Right.
a couple languages. Um, it is really challenging, and every show I've been a part of, I try and take a skill from that show, or take more dancing ability, something, so that as I go, I kind of collect little
One
tidbits here.
more.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you actually have ice skating in this, or how do they do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our choreographer, Charlotte Bidewell, she actually grew up ice skating. So she was the perfect person to choreograph this.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So she did a really good job with the movement of making it look like folks are gliding across the ice and doing all of these formations without actually including, any sort of like roller skates or something like that.
Sure. So you're not freezing up the stage every night with an ice rink and
With
let's
the
go play.
Zamboni. Right. No.
Right. Bring them out. Come on, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, as you look down the road, what would you like to be doing?
I mean, Broadway is definitely the dream. I think that's my biggest dream. I would just love to continue performing, and getting to see the country is so cool as well. So doing another tour would be something I would be interested in too.
Do you have to watch out so that you don't get COVID when you're out on the road? Because I would
Yeah,
assume,
yeah, we I mean we test weekly, so and we do have protocols in place if someone were to test positive, and we do have thank goodness for understudies and swings for that very reason. We do have some incredible people that are prepared to go on in the event that that happens. But knock on wood, hopefully
it's not,
hopefully we're all good this year. Yeah.
we have a limited time here, right?
Right.
What do you think of Charlie Brown? Do you like him?
Hmm.
Do you think, because I don't relate to him. He's not my character. Linus is my character.
Ah, yes.
I,
Hmm.
I feel just like him in that kind of, caught in the middle, and you have this domineering sister who's telling you what to do.
Right.
Charlie Brown, he's a believer,
Hmm.
wants to believe that everything is going to be right.
Right.
But then it's like they pull the football away from him. Everything kind of doesn't happen the way he wants it to, and yet he still maintains a sense of optimism.
Yeah, I think that's what and that's a perfect way to put it, is that kind of almost unwavering optimism that things are going to work out, even though time and time again they haven't. That specifically I relate to. I think being an actor, you have to have a little bit of that that relentless optimism. Yeah.
It's got to be there all the time, or else.
You're right.
On your list, it said special skills you could do. Baby sounds. What are baby sounds? What kind of things can you do that's a baby sound?
Okay, yeah, great question. So I have used this in a show. I was in a production of Into the Woods, and at the top of Act 2 there are timed baby sounds with the music. So it's let me see if I can do one here. One of those
Where'd that
little.
come from? Is this something you're sitting around the house and you say, I could do that. I could try
I
that.
I don't really know how it came about. I just remember in college kind of just experimenting with different noises I could make, and that one was one that worked.
It worked. Well, you also do goat sounds.
I do. Let me see if I can do one of those right
Was that for Wicked? Did you want to be in Wicked at some point? And you could be
It wasn't, but I think that would be good to keep in my back pocket just in case they need a replacement Dillamont. So it's let's see.
hired. You
Yeah,
are
thank
ready
you.
for the next company. I'm there, right? How easy is it to get into Broadway? Is it difficult?
It is difficult, and it's I feel like the industry has really been changed by COVID, and it used to be all in-person auditions, of course, and people lining up waiting to be seen, hopefully being seen. But now everything has shifted to self-tapes, which is a blessing and a curse, I feel like, because you do have the opportunity to at least submit for a lot more things. But the flip side of that is, when you're not physically in the room with someone auditioning, you can't 100% guarantee that they're watching your video or that they're watching it all the way through. So it is tricky. It's a lot of it, I've found, is who you know. And our director Robbie Simpson always says work begets work. So it's who you've worked with, who you have shown your talent with, and that always leads to something else. So I'm hoping that it will lead to Broadway within the next couple of years.
It will. It will. I
Yeah.
interviewed an actress who said that self-taping she loved because she could keep doing it until she got it the way she wanted it to.
Mhm.
But then she wasn't able to deliver when she was put in a live situation.
Yeah, I relate to that as well, and I think there's something about knowing or being able to see yourself on the camera before you send it in. You feel like you can fix every little thing, where in the room something very small that might happen you wouldn't even know, and they probably wouldn't know or notice either. So it's a blessing and a curse in that way, I
Yeah,
think.
I would think that that kind of moment when you're with others who are judging you and they can feel that you could deliver might come through a lot better in a room than it would on a tape.
I agree. I think that the energy in the room is a lot, and something about the heightened stakes of actually being in the room with someone else really at least brings a better performance out of me usually.
Yeah.
Not always.
Going from college to the real world,
Mhm.
How difficult was that? And what was that transition like? Because I'm sure in college you were getting leading roles all the time. And
Right.
I know I'll be in the next show, so it won't be a problem.
Mhm.
But when you get into the real world and you think, God, I just want to carry a stick across the stage, I'm ready for that.
It
You
is true.
and
Yeah.
how do you mentally prepare for that, something like that?
It was an adjustment period, and I think that I've talked to other fellow performers who, for lack of a better phrase, were a big fish in a small pond at their university. So they were in all the shows, they were getting leading roles, and you come out into the real world, and especially wherever you move, but specifically New York, and everyone was a big fish in a small pond for the most part, and you have to kind of change your expectations and just get start enjoying the work of it all and the auditioning and the learning and that side of it, because that's what you're going to be spending a lot of your days doing. But it took me a while, and I moved to New York in 2019, so I got about a full year in before everything
Great.
shut down, so that was an adjustment as well, a little bit of a setback, but I think everything is really back and alive, and I'm happy to be where I'm at now.
Was there a lesson you learned then in the real world that you hadn't gotten in school?
Mm. I think really seeking out the opportunities, and um, not expecting them to come your way. I think you really the work is in seeking out the opportunities and networking, really, and meeting people and creating art with people.
Yeah, the thing that would kill me is if the show was long running and you go, what's this, our 200th performance? And we're
Right.
still, trying to keep it fresh because you can do it in 2 weeks, no
Yeah.
problem. But if you're going a year, 2 years, whatever, I would think it'd be just a kill.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is probably one of the longer runs that I've done, and it's still relatively short comparatively. I did a cruise ship this past summer, and that was just a different world entirely. But yeah, exactly. But that show, by the end, I was like, okay, because that was about 5 months of doing the same um,
Yeah.
performances. So by the end, I was like, all right, let's find something else to do.
It's fun to be on a cruise until you have to be on a cruise.
Exactly. It starts as a vacation, and then everything kind of wears off a bit.
Yeah. No, 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 no. Well, thank you so much and good luck. I'm dying to see this because I would love to see how it's done. I've been a fan of the Charlie Brown Christmas show every year. I have to see it or else it's not Christmas. And so to see it live, I think is going to be even more fun. So
Well, thank
thank
you so much for your time.
I'll be looking for you. I'll be the one out there yelling. So if you wonder
Please.
who's the crazy one out there yelling, it's me.
It's
It's
you.
right. Thank
Great.
you so much, Connor. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Bruce. Have a great rest of your day.